A dreadful diagnosis, and Jay Leno is experiencing his worst tragedy. Someone who made millions viewers chuckle nightly, who survived a face-injuring fuel explosion and a full body-biting motorcycle crash, is now caused by a quiet pain larger than physical injury. Los Angeles court records show Jay Leno as Mavis' legal conservator. Leno after her advanced dementia diagnosis. The woman who has been his wife for almost 40 years is progressively forgetting him due to this awful sickness that once adored. As the spotlight dims, Jay must confront his aging loneliness. A place where fame cannot restore memory, the laughter of yesterday is an echo. Really, what's happening? The tragedy of Jay Leno and the world-shaking choice will be revealed next. November 12, 2022, Entertainment World was astonished to learn that Jay Leno, the American comedy superstar, The Tonight Show's renowned host, was seriously injured. The incident, his personal sanctuary, not a film set or stage. His massive Burbank vehicle collection garage. Particularly during fundamental tasks, his unique 1907 white steam vehicle needs restoration that over 180 autos and 160 motorcycles. Unexpected events turned his devotion into a nightmare. According to Leno's thorough, he was clearing a fuel line. A white steam automobile uses steam technology, but the boiler needs a little gasoline to heat. Leaning down, Jay blew pressurized air into the line to unblock it. However, pressure drove a large liquid gasoline in his face. In a moment, flame from his face and upper body burned as the boiler pilot light ignited. Jay described the terrible moment. I tried to unblock the pipe and told, blow some air through the line. Let's see if we can clear. Then I got gas in my face. Pilot light jumped and my face burned. Fire consumed him, causing severe burns that to his face, chest, and hands, encompassing 7% of his body area. 7% may seem tiny, yet the burns were centered on sensitive and exposed regions including the head, face, and hands, causing damage highly serious. Lucky for him, his mechanic and friend Dave Kalaki was there. Dave saved Jay from the burning automobile by extinguishing the flames. Dave recounted, the garage filled with smoke in seconds, terrifying. The timely rescue spared Jay from worsening gasoline spill on the floor. Without Kaki's prompt response, injuries would have resulted considerably worse, possibly fatal or disfiguring. Jay went to the Grossman Burn Center at West Hills Hospital in Los Angeles immediately, nationally renowned burn center. Center director Dr. Peter Gman, his doctor, stated during a press conference that Jay Leno had second and third-degree burns. Third-degree burns penetrate all skin layers and are the most severe, perhaps harming underlying tissue. The treatment took 10 days. From November 12th until November 21st, Tinquin 182 was complicated. Both transient skin grafting procedures. Doctors protected wounds with synthetic skin infection and promote skin renewal. HBO, hyperbaric oxygen treatment. Jay had many hyperbaric oxygen chamber sessions. This treatment aids oxygen absorption, improving blood flow to wounded areas and speeding recovery. Healing, inflammation reduction, and scar reduction. This contributed to his near-complete facial healing. The Grossman Burn Center published a statement verifying Jay's stable health after discharge and would maintain outpatient care and checks. Jay Leno's reaction was more shocking than the burns reaction. Despite his crimson face and bandaged arms, he called the press, thanked the medical personnel, and confirmed he was fine. He ignored rest advice and never canceled a show. Jay Leno performed at the Comedy Club 9 days following his release, and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach, his professional venue for nearly 30 years. This was almost unique in entertainment. When he left, reporters saw his bandaged wrists, minimal scars on his face, and intact voice that he joked about the mishap to start the show. Jay remembered the garage moment, smiled, and added, "My face was on fire." For nearly an hour, he addressed the accident as part of his profession. The showgoers applauded him. Doctors confirmed his good response to therapy and infection-free status. This calmness and humor immediately a catastrophe changed Jay Leno's public image from a prominent talk show presenter to a symbol of perseverance and dedication. Under 2 weeks later, Jay faced another obstacle after the gasoline explosion. Even though the burns were still fresh, the collision between steel, bone, and willpower. The media questioned the recent accidents what kept him up and performing after every fall. In January 17, 2023, while testing a 1940 Indian motorcycle, another historic vehicle, NJ, crashed in Las Vegas with his collection. An unlabeled cable across the parking lot pushed him off bike. The effect was so harsh that Jay had a broken clavicle, ribs, kneecaps, and patella that he briefly told the Review Journal. "I was knocked off my motorcycle and broke my collarbone." Only 2 months had passed when the accident damaged 2 ribs and 2 kneecaps. After the garage burn, his health was constantly questioned, worrying supporters. Jay spent a few days at a local hospital before returning to the stage. His physicians urged him to rest for 2 weeks, but he refused. In future shows, Jay wore an arm brace and moved gently. He joked on stage about getting a discount on ambulance rides. American media heavily covered. Many praised Jay's uncommon talent for a second mishap in one winter, work ethic among his generation's artists, almost old-fashioned professionalism. But the tragedy continued 10 months later. On November 9, 2024, Jay had another mishap in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, ready for a show. He nearly tumbled down a slope 20 length behind the Hampton Hotel, hitting a rock and shattering his head. In an Inside Edition interview, Jay claimed a broken wrist, face, and fingernail. Smiled. "I hurt my head sliding down the hill." He said the rock fell suddenly. While trying to take a shortcut to the parking lot. He fought to get up to avoid being late for his show. When hotel personnel offered to call an ambulance, he told them to bandage his wrist. He performed that night as scheduled, his face on stage bruised and swelled, and his right eye nearly closed. Jay joked, "My right eye is on vacation." The audience howled, laughed, and gave him a standing ovation after his hour-long set. Social media and press swiftly shared Pittsburgh photos, said it showed the season host's incredible stamina. A man who survived 3 catastrophic accidents in 1 year without surgery. Jay Leno survived these accidents. Resilient, as shown by his physical recuperation, and despite leaving The Tonight Show in 1992, he worked hard. 2009, 2010, 2014, he often performed over 150 stand-up comedy events each year, touring states and performing in smaller venues. Jay still drove himself to exhibits or took his truck with his vintage automobiles. According to colleagues, he carried only a couple suits and his microphone and had no personal aides. According to analysts, Jay's immediate lifestyle contrasted with his glamorous work. Returning to work showed resilience and helped cope. For him, comedy is life. His stage return was the fastest to recover control and relieve physical and emotional anguish via laughing and audience participation. Maintaining regularity and schedule was more effective than painkillers. Jay Leno became the comedy Iron Man after this terrible series of bodily accidents and his determined stage comeback. Jay Leno faced a new hurdle that could not be surmounted. The last test was not fire or steel. Jay's personal tragedy pushed him to publicize a private element of his life he's kept private for 40 years. On January 26, 2024, Jay Leno petitioned the Los Angeles Superior Court to become Mavis Lowe's legal conservator. The couple's secret suffering was revealed via this court action, shocking the media. Confronting court documents indicated a serious medical condition. Diagnosis: Mavis Leno had severe dementia, a gradually lose cognitive function, especially sophisticated personal finance management. She needed extensive daily living assistance. Jay Leno is one of the wealthiest entertainers, yet this request was not his main goal. About money, but mostly to shield Mavis from legal issues, ensure timely and accurate medical judgments. The filing noted, Jay Leno was named the sole conservator, demonstrating the unusual trust and lasting strength of their connection. 2 months after filing, further details medical report submitted by Dr. Hart Cohen on April 2nd in Folkser Mavis's demise was reported in this rare public report. Documentation showing Mavis's mental anguish from the condition. Dort Cohen confirmed that Mavis had serious symptoms, including short-term memory loss, cognitive impairment, and spatial disorientation. The most painful part of the tale was that Mavis sometimes didn't know Jay, her husband. Could she recall her birth date? Becoming a stranger after 44 years of relationship was unusual. The loss of a life partner is the greatest tragedy. However, the report acknowledged that Mavis had moments of clarity and her trust in Jay helped her approve the petition, even though she couldn't recall Jay. The LA court processed her quickly, recognized the urgency of the request, and set an April hearing. The verdict came April 9, 2024. Jay Leno received complete medical, legal, and financial authority at his request. Jay and his attorney represented Mavis at the hearing. He was calm and restrained, showing the absolute publicly seen self-control. He made no extended pronouncements stating that his top priority was his wife's safety and financial security stability. He wished to safeguard their mutual assets formed from his glittering career from Mavis's health abuse or neglect. Family lawyer Ronald Astron represented Mavis. Friend addressed public concerns and honored him after the hearing. Mavis consents to the petition because Mr. Leno is her boyfriend. Guardian, and she trusts him unconditionally, became the focus of all media outlets, overshadowing conservatorship noise. In a quick interview thereafter, Jay talked plainly. Voice quiet and tranquil, reflecting his reality acceptance philosophy. Her, everyone, and we're fine. I made a will in case something happens. That was typical Jay Leno understatement to diminish the drama. He saw his wife's condition as a legal and medical issue, an inevitable element of aging that needed practical handling. His voice was calm, clear, and cheerful. A strategy he employed to survive 3 near-fatal accidents. Jay Leno's schedule and objectives changed drastically after the court's verdict. Burns and damaged bones could not. Jay adjusted his the annual performance calendar always topped 150 shows. He exclusively took California shows and ran long-distance tours to Bestage Lights faded when Mavis's caregiver returned home every night. Short drives, and then home alone time. Personal responsibility replaced professional work ethic. Instead of driving across states, Jay visited their Beverly Hills home. He cooked, cared for his wife, and took her for walks in their tiny garden. According to colleagues, the actor who made tens of millions from television now finds purpose in housework. Close pals said Jay had a routine. Mavis stabilized with morning walks and afternoon walks, checking the garage cars, seeing the prior accident, and reading the newspaper with her in the evenings. Despite not understanding the material, a reporter met Jay at a small charity event in June 2024. He said that his life was more about Mavis than anything else when asked about it. That answer showed Jay's objectives changed after more than 4 years. Man who loved laughter and speed spent decades in the spotlight. Intimate sources say Mavis has found peace in her forgetting fight. Jay accompanied her to a Los Angeles memory care facility for regular treatment. She supported, protected, and preserved their memories at every appointment. Dr. Cohen said maintenance medicine worked well for her despite substantial memory loss. Jay shared all medical information privately. Only a few friends and family knew, respecting his wife's privacy. By October 2024, Jay performed at a modest Hollywood bar, a rare visit. The 90-minute program featured long-standing collaborators. Many in the audience were unaware that he had lost about 10 kg due to concern and tireless caregiving. However, Jay persisted. His story sharp and familiar. He didn't joke about his wife's condition. He focused on daily stories and light political humor. In the peaceful years of caring for his wife, Jay often recalled his successful career. The history shaped his incredible resilience and work ethic. Since late-night laughter drove him to the top of American television, Jay Leno, born James Douglas Muir Leno, was born on April 28, 1950, in New Rochelle, New York. His family was a middle-class working family in Andover, Massachusetts. His father, Angelo Leno, was an Italian-American insurance professional. His mother, Catherine Nemu, was a Scottish immigrant and homemaker. Jay's modest and accessible humor stems from his conservative family background. Since childhood, Jay has used humor as a coping method for his undiagnosed dyslexia. Jay described school as challenging. His ability to make others laugh provided him with the favorable attention he sought. He frequently imitated his professors' voices and acted for his classmates' amusement. This simple joy and craving for connection through laughter started his lifelong adventure. In his teens, Jay worked odd jobs including pizza delivery and mechanic labor. These employment nourished his passion for vehicles and gave him a wealth of working-class stories for his comic routines. While studying communications and speech therapy at Emerson College in Boston, Jay vowed to become a comedian. He started performing stand-up comedy at local venues, frequently during open mic nights. To support himself, He wrote scripts, developed short routines, and improved his improvisation and audience connection skills. Jay Leno's career has been established on small clubs and stages, not television studios. After graduating from Emerson College in 1973, Jay Leno relocated to Los Angeles, where the television business was thriving and chances for young artists were growing. In his early years in California, he lived in his old automobile, performed wherever he could, and slept on friends' couches. The first important turning point occurred in 1977. Jay's insightful and witty brand of comedy attracted Johnny Carson, the late-night television staple. During his first guest appearance on The Tonight Show, he caught management and the public's attention in that little section. Jay later became a frequent guest on entertainment shows like Late Night with David Letterman. He gained a reputation for his bright, simple, and engaging humor. Jay was adored by audiences for his honesty. He was the kind of coffee person anyone would invite. In the late 1980s, Jay became a permanent guest presenter on The Tonight Show. This position provided renown, income, and effective preparation for succession. As Johnny Carson prepared to retire in the early 1990s, NBC faced a passionate struggle to pick a replacement. The two leading possibilities were Jay Leno and David Letterman, who hosted the show after Carson. The customary pick was Letterman, while Carson and producers favored Lowe for its potential to reach a wider audience. After several guest hosting auditions, NBC ultimately chose Jay Leno, despite internal debate. On May 25, 1992, Johnny became host of The Tonight Show, marking a new era in American late-night television. The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, with a brief hiatus from 2009 to 2010, has been a staple of American popular culture for nearly 2 decades. Jay's show remained the top late-night show. On average, 5 million viewers watched each night, producing billions in advertising income for NBC. Jay delivered a competent, pleasant, and humorous hosting manner. Jay typically started the show with humorous quips about current events and popular culture. His nonviolent, non-political manner made him a popular late-night host for all Americans, regardless of party allegiance. He was known for his polite and non-confrontational style when conversing with guests, including celebrities, politicians, and controversial personalities. He emphasized highlighting guests rather than elevating himself, a stance embraced by many newer hosts. Jay Leno was known for his on-screen brilliance and traditional work ethic. Despite the show airing in the late afternoon, he was known for arriving to the studio early, often around 9 a.m. He actively participated in the production process and wrote most of his monologue jokes. He was punctual, never missed a concert, and appreciated the personnel. Jay continued to perform stand-up comedy at tiny clubs on weekends despite his demanding schedule of a 5-night talk show. The comedian found that performing for a live audience helped him maintain authenticity and relevance in his comedy. This constant inspiration kept him from becoming complacent in Hollywood. Vintage Car Enthusiast.in edition, Jay started collecting vintage vehicles, a boyhood love revived by his mechanic profession. His Burbank garage became a private museum, known as the Big Dog Garage, with hundreds of unique cars and motorcycles. From 1907 white steam cars to current supercars, Jay personally maintained and repaired them. Jay said, "Fixing cars is the best vacation a person can have, despite his busy work schedule." He kept himself humble, busy, and away from the expensive party life of Hollywood. In 2004, NBC revealed a surprising succession plan. Conan O'Brien took over hosting duties after Jay Leno retired in 2009 to prevent competitors from poaching O'Brien. This decision was made early. Jay quit the show briefly in 2009. NBC offered Jay a new program, The Jay Leno Show, at 10 p.m. to retain him. This show bombed in ratings and hurt local affiliates. 1 year later, in early 2010, NBC made a shocking choice. Cancel Jay Leno and transfer The Tonight Show to a later time slot. This scheduling adjustment caused a public and intense late-night TV conflict. Later, Conan O'Brien went from NBC to TBS. Jay Leno hosted The Tonight Show again in March 2010. This choice was contentious in entertainment. Jay was accused of betraying and breaking a promise as a selfish individual. Despite criticism, Jay stayed mute, focusing on his business and hosting the event. His philosophy was basic. As an employee, I work when the employer asks. Jay maintained his rating advantage despite negative press, demonstrating his continued popularity to the public. Jay Leno revealed in 2013 that he would move on from The Tonight Show in 2014, giving over the chair to Jimmy Fallon on February 6, 2014, an emotional moment. The studio went silent in contrast to the turbulent 2010 Succession dispute. This departure was held in a polite and loving manner. Jay cried. He looked at the audience and stated, "This has been the greatest 22 years of my life." Jay recites Johnny Carson's final comments, his idol. "Have a heartfelt good night." A modest farewell and tribute marked the end of a thriving period of American late-night television that was termed the warmest finale in American television history by the press. Late-night television was made safe and accessible for all American families by Jay Leno. A lot of publications laud Jay for creating a new standard for talk shows, combining humor, authenticity, guest respect, and exceptional work ethic. Jay's show routinely topped ratings. Think of NBC as a money engine. Jay has no retirement announcement after departing The Tonight Show. The speaker stated, "It's time for a new generation to take over." He resumed stand-up comedy, touring throughout America and performing in small venues, prepared for the upcoming tragedies and family tragedies. After The Tonight Show ended in 2014, many in the entertainment business anticipated Jay Leno would retire and enjoy his wealth. But Jay, with his incredible work ethic, chose another road. Our trip is quiet yet full of passion and surprises. He preferred the roar of motors, smell of oil, and the excitement of hands-on work over the bright studio lights. This began a new journey. Turn after midnight. Jay turned his personal hobby into a significant professional endeavor. He debuted Jay Leno's Garage on CNBC in 2015. The exhibition soon gained popularity among automotive aficionados and the general public. Jay hosted, told stories, and fixed things that he introduced spectators to the world of vintage cars, highlighting their history, technology, and individuality. Jay's massive dog garage resembled a private museum. This site held his unlimited devotion. Over 180 automobiles and 160 motorcycles were in the collection, including rare classics like the Chrysler Turbine car and recent supercars like the McLaren F1. Jay carefully preserved and cared for each car individually in a 1,000 square meter area in Burbank. His transformation was a return to himself, not retirement. A mechanic who makes jokes for little venues on weekends can travel, establishing himself as America's busiest stand-up comedian. Jay Leno demonstrated resilience through overcoming 3 significant injuries and pursuing enthusiasm and never-ceasing work. Known as a comedian, mechanic, and emblem of personal and professional fidelity, Jay Leno's legacy transcends late-night humor and costly cars, highlighting resilience. Show your support now if you love reading about the careers and endurance of icons like Jay Leno. Click like on the video, subscribe to our channel, and enable alerts to be updated on inspiring tales. Please share your thoughts on the most valuable lesson from Jay Leno's work ethic and dedication in the comments below.